asking about if I could or saying that I did. And he gets really upset, which I understand. If I did already do it, I would understand why he got upset at that, because I should have honestly asked him. But then he decides, I don't even know, it was weird. Like, the bell had already rang, so we were late for class. We were literally walking up the stairs to get to my class so he could walk me there, and we're just like arguing about it. And then when we get to the top of the stairs, I don't remember exactly what happened. I kind of like blacked out, I guess, like beforehand, but he like he slaps my face like to grab it, and then he pulls it towards him, and then he like pulls it away, like he shoves me away. So I'm like, whoa, that was crazy. And I'm like, okay, that was not what I expected to happen. And I kind of just like in the moment, I'm like, oh my god, like, that just happened. And I don't really know how to react, so I just kind of like look at him and I just walk to class. And in class, I'm just like completely tuned out. I'm just like thinking like, oh my god, like that really happened. And I don't even know how to like process that, you know? I'm just like kind of like trying to like process it the best I can, and I just don't even know how to. Well then, oh, one sec. Okay, sorry, the camera probably moved a little bit too, but I had to respond to my mom real quick. But anyways, he hits me or whatever. I go to class, and he ends up like texting, or we end up like texting very briefly, and I basically ask if we can meet up. So I ask his restroom, and I end up meeting up with him in the stairwell, and we basically try to talk things out, but it doesn't really go well because he just starts sobbing and like love bombing me, going like, I love you so much, I don't want you to leave me, this and that. And he's basically just begging me not to leave him, and I start to feel like shit. And I'm like, damn, I should have never like even thought about breaking up with him. And I started to kind of like blame myself a little bit and go like, maybe it was my fault, you know, all that classic stuff that unfortunately a lot of abuse victims feel after abuse happens. And that was kind of just like what my like thought process was, I guess. It was like, oh, like I should never have thought of breaking up with him, this and that, blah blah blah. So then I started to become depressed heavily, more than I used to be. Way more than Yellow ever made me depressed. And he promised that he would never treat me the way Yellow did or anywhere close to that, and he ended up treating me worse just from that moment alone. But yeah, so here's another event where abuse took place, which is basically, I don't remember this incident as well as like the first one, but because I always forget about this one, and then it pops in my mind. I'm like, oh my god, that did happen. And yeah, and so basically, that day, I had basically gotten invited, or I got like a slip from like my first period teacher, and she was like, hey, during your second period, instead of going to your second period, go to the NPR, and you're going to basically, you're gonna make up credits there. And I had really bad anxiety, so I didn't want to go, and I didn't really give a fuck about credits. My main thought was like my mental health and keeping myself sane, I guess. Well, he ends up getting very mad about that, and about like the fact that I want to not go. And he basically, like, the bell is rung already, people are starting to class, and he grabs like me, he grabs me by my backpack. He's like basically pulling me by my backpack, which is hurting my back because I already have back problems, and is hurting me. And I'm like saying stop, and he keeps on just pulling me towards him, trying to pull me, literally drag me to the NPR. And I'm like don't do that, you know? But in the moment, obviously I'm not thinking, let me just tell him not to do that. So I'm like, okay. And like I end up eventually getting away. I'm like, I'm not going. Like, you're not making me go. You can go to class if you want. I'm not going to go just because you want me to go. I'm going to class. Like, you don't need to walk me. I don't remember if he ended up walking me. I don't really remember how that situation ended because it's such like an old event. I don't remember that like at all. I also don't remember like when that happened specifically, so that one's kind of just like inserted in there, you know, like an estimated guess, you know. So here's another thing. Okay, I'm gonna stand up for this one. Here's like one of the rules of our relationship, if you will. I was not allowed to wear shirts tied up, right? Okay, so let's just say, okay, I'm wearing my pants like this, and I would have my shirts like this. He would get mad at that little bit of stomach that was showing, and that is not an exaggeration whatsoever. I would pull it down the most I can. He would say, just untie it, just untie it. And at the time I was really insecure about my body, so I was like, no, I don't want to untie it. Like, I want to keep it the way it is, this and that. And he was like, no. I was like, damn, all right. And I was basically just not allowed to untie it because, and he had told me it was because men would be looking at me and my stomach in a sexual way. And I was like, no, they won't. They don't want me. Men think I'm ugly. That's like literally what I told him. And he was just like, no, but they want your body, you know, they'll be all looking, all the guys are gonna be looking at you. And I was like, stare. That is not my problem. That is the men's problem for staring. If they have like a stomach fetish or something, what do you want me to do? I was just sick and tired of it, right? So basically, yeah, right, okay, so every single time he would fuck up and he would do something, I would confront him about it, and I'd be like, hey, like, this thing you did really hurt me. And he would shut down and go quiet and just not talk to me and just stare at me. Just stare. And I would be like, okay, so you're not gonna, like, you know, talk about it, you know? He wouldn't. And it'd really bug me because I would be like, please just talk to me about it. Like, oh, I just fucked up my eyebrows so bad. I would be like, please just talk to me about it. Like, please, like, I'm just trying to help you. This and that. Like, I'm just trying to, like, be there for you. Like, please, like, I just want to get this solved. I want to communicate, please. And it would always be when he did something wrong. Always. And so basically he just was kind of like, oh, like, he wouldn't talk. Like, he just wouldn't talk. So I would kind of, like, go crazy, and I'd essentially just, like, be like, okay, then we're done. Like, if you can't communicate and you don't want to fix our relationship, then we're just done. We're not dating right now, okay? Like, we're not. And he would just be like, okay. And then the next class, I would tell Elena about it. I'd text her, and I would find out that he was with his friends having fun and just doing fun things without even, like, acting like anything just happened. When in reality, with me, he was acting all sad and upset and hurt. So I was like, okay, damn, I guess I know how he really feels, you know? And it just really bugged me because I was like, you know. All right, so then here's another incident. These are the last two incidents of him physically hurting me. So basically, I am very hyper. I get very hyper at, like, certain points of the day because I have ADHD. So I get, like, extremely hyper. It's, like, specifically, like, throughout, especially at school. Like, when I'm at school, like, when it was, like, after school, we'd be walking the bike path. I'd get out all my energy then, because then or else at home I'd be, like, really energetic, and I didn't want that. So I just try to get out all my energy the best I can. And so basically, we were at the bike path, which the bike path is just, like, a path where bikes go, okay? If you went to Etiwana, you might know what it looks like. But it just was kind of a rocky trail-like path. And I was there, and I was, like, kind of, like, running up and down it, and he would get mad that I would run away from him, like, just kind of go, like, he'd be, like, right here, and I just, like, run that way, come back. I would not go that far, and he would get very mad at me for doing that. And one day he just kind of snaps, and he, like, storms over to me. He grabs me by my wrist, and he starts, like, pulling me over. And I started, like, I was, like, upset, and I just was like, oh my god, like, I was really in shock that time. And he ended up bringing me back over, and I just was, like, upset at him. Well, then this second time is so funny to me. Like, this will always be funny to me, and I do not care if, like, yeah, like, it was, like, traumatic, whatever. This is funny to me. Not on his end. Like, this is disgusting on his end, but it's kind of funny to me. Which is basically, oh wait, let me do this inner corner. I'm always so bad at this one. Okay, I'm about to clean that up, but it has the vibe. Anyways, so me and him are at the bike path, and he farts. And when I say that, his farts stunk bad. And recently, actually, there was a dead rat, like, in my grandma's pool, and I smelled the smell of death for the first time. And I can confidently 110% say his farts genuinely smell like death. Like, that's not even me trying to be funny or, like, trying to even exaggerate. His farts reeked like literal death. Okay, so basically, he had farted. Okay, it stank bad, so bad. So I, like, run away from him, like, as a joke, and he gets mad. He's like, what's your problem? This and that. He grabs me by my wrist, starts to pull me over, and this time I just pull my wrist away. It took a bit. I was, like, kind of struggling, but I finally pull my wrist away. He starts to grab it again. He, like, tries to do it, and I keep on, like, moving my wrist away. And then he, like, grabs me, like, right here, and then, like, I move away completely, and he's like, okay, fine, but you better not run away. And I was like, okay. And I start to cry, and I end up getting bruised on my wrist. And yeah, and then I told him later, I said, you left a mark on me. And he was like, I'm so sorry, I'm not trying to be abusive. Am I abusive? Be honest, am I abusive? And I knew if I said yeah, he was gonna just be pissed. So I was like, no, you're not. But he is, okay? So this is where me and Andrew's love story starts, but I'm going to save the Andrew details for the next video. So for right now, it's just going to be like the Alex relationship details and not the Andrew relationship details. So me and Andrew first met in 9th grade, which I'll get into, but we stopped talking 10th grade. But in the end of 10th grade, in April of 2022, we kind of just like re-met, if you will. And we had basically started to talk again, and like he was being really cool and funny, and I just genuinely thought like, wow, he's really nice now. Like I think he's had like his character development from last time we talked. Let's be friends. So I ended up asking Alex later that day, like, hey, can I have his Discord? And we have our first conversation. And through that, I basically let him know, like, Alex is abusive. But I don't say it like that, obviously, because I didn't know it was abuse. I just was kind of like, Alex kind of, like, hits me sometimes. And the thing is, and this is no hate to anyone who knew about my situation in the moment, but everyone I told that Alex had hit me didn't, like, help me or anything, or didn't try to help me. And like I said, no hate, because I get it. Like, what can you do in that situation? I wouldn't have listened to them anyways, right? But, you know, nobody had, like, told me, like that's abuse, that's not okay, you need to leave. But Andrew did. Andrew, like, told me, like, yeah, that's abuse, and that's not okay, and, like, I'm sorry you went through that, and I think that you need to, like, get out of that situation. I was like, oh, shit, you're right. So I'm kind of, like, starting to, like, realize, like, that's not okay. So I basically begin to kind of look at him in a different light, Alex. And during this time, that girl Red I had mentioned, she basically begged Alex to walk her to class. Begged him. And he knew I had, like, jealousy issues of her, and, like, that she made me really uncomfortable because she would try to steal guys a lot from their girlfriends, and would slut shame other girls for even just, like, having sex and doing all these things. And so, you know, I was just basically really uncomfortable with her, and he knew this, and he also claimed he was uncomfortable with her, but he ended up walking her to class and forgot to tell me. He forgot to tell me, and I didn't know until the middle of 3rd period. I get a text from Red, and I tell her, or no, she tells me, oh, hey, you know how, oh, I'm really sorry that Alex walked me to class. I hope it's not a problem, right? You know, obviously. And so I'm like, no, not at all. And then I end up texting Alex. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why would you walk her to class without telling me? That just feels like disloyal to me. It feels like you're hiding stuff from me. Like, why would you not even tell me? Why would you not think to tell me? And I'm, like, going off on him. And he's just like, calm down, this and that. You know, you don't need to get all crazy, blah, 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 blah. You know, and basically just, like, tell me to calm down and, like, all this stuff. And I was, like, getting upset. I was like, no, I'm not calming down over something like this. So, yeah. Then, right, so then, okay, during April, my drug addiction had started. Okay, if you knew me anywhere from April 2022 up until February of 2023, I was drugged up. I was drugged up. It was really bad, okay? It was really bad. I was really severely, like, depressed, and it was really bad. And so, and basically Alex would get mad whenever I would relapse, and Andrew would help me. He would comfort me. And during the time, he would be like, okay, well, like, you need to drink some water. You can't go to sleep just yet, because if you go to sleep, like, you don't want to, like, accidentally, like, if you're, like, having an overdose, you can die in your sleep. You know, this and that. Was basically helping me through this addiction, and, like, the proper way, while Alex was getting mad. And he basically would be like, what's your problem? You know, like, you know, like, why are you even, like, resorting to this? Like, you know, this and that. And it's like, because of you. LOL. But, he would basically just get really mad at me. And then Andrew literally had to text Alex and be like, hey, do you want to know, like, the proper way to, like, help Kai? And he was like, I'm actually busy right now. He wasn't busy, by the way. We were, like, just texting. And then Andrew's like, okay, but, like, I just want to let you know, like, what you're doing is not helping, and you're just making it worse, and you're making her want to do, like, drugs more. Like, you're not doing anything properly. And he was like, yeah, okay, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And, like, essentially I think he knew it all. And then once I told him how Andrew helped me, he started to, like, try and, like, help me that way. So it was kind of, like, obvious that it was, like, a competition thing. That does not look good, does that? No, it does not. So I was trying to try something new with my contour. I don't like it. But anyways, so right, okay, so then okay, so right, in May of 2022, me and Alex had celebrated our 1 year, and things actually felt normal on that day. Like, it was like the first time like things really just felt normal and like fine. Okay, please don't drop my phone, please don't drop my phone. I didn't. Okay, it was the first time that things just felt normal and like just normal in our relationship. So I was kind of like, okay, anyways, that was the first time things felt normal, blah blah blah. So, but we also had like constant arguing, and here are the 2 examples that I could remember at the top of my head of the worst, dumbest arguments in the world. Okay, the first one, he got mad because Andrew and I would like joke, and we'd like call each other like names of jokes. So I would be like, oh, you're a bitch, and he'd be like, you're a whore, and we'd go back and forth just like saying things, and it was mutually a joke. So Alex texts me and he's like, oh, I fucking hate that bitch. And I was like, who? And he was like, Andrew, because we were on like a server. And I was like, why? And he was like, because he called you a whore. That motherfucker called you a whore. And I was like, okay, but like, we're just joking, it's fine, like, you don't need to make a big deal out of it. And he was like, no, it is a big deal, like, I don't like him calling you a whore. And I was like, why? Like, what is the problem with that? Like, it's me, like, it's my feelings and how I want to feel about it. I don't give a fuck about it. He called me a whore as a joke, I don't care. And then he was just like, only I'm allowed to call you a whore. And I was like, bitch, what? And I was not into that. So I used to be, not at this time, but when he said that, I was not into that. So, and he knew that. So I was like, bitch, no, not even you. So he took it as a serious thing. I was like, no. But there's that. And then, okay, I had sent a picture of my birthday dress to my friends, and he got mad at me for sending it to my friends. He said that no one else should be allowed to see it, and that he wanted me, this is a direct quote from him, I want you all to myself. I have jealousy issues, I can't control that. And he starts to go on this whole thing about how he has these jealousy issues, he shouldn't be forced to control them, and you know, I should understand, blah blah blah. So whatever. Well, beginning of June, me and Alex broke up. This is now June 2022. Okay, we broke up, and he broke up with me, and I started to freak out because I was like, fuck, like, I don't think I can live a life without him. And like, I started to kind of like realize, like, in that moment, like, everything I've been working for, I don't even want. And like, I wanted it like deep down, but I didn't want to have to go through like, the process of getting to that point. So I basically try to fix me and Alex's relationship. It doesn't work, okay? Because during the day, he would act really cold towards me and really shitty towards me. But then at night, he would call me mommy, and he'd be like, literally call me mommy. He'd be like, mommy, I love you so much, this and that. And I would like feed into it because I wanted him. So I was like, okay, whatever. And then, and so then, but in the morning, he'd act like he didn't remember. He'd be like, oh, we called last night? I don't even remember that. Okay. Just say you have a mommy kink, it's fine. Alright, okay. So then, it started to reach an end, okay? But I found out he was going to a continuation school because he had really bad grades, and every single time I tried to help him, he would freak out and get all mad at me. So I let him get bad grades. And I found out, like I said, he's going to a continuation school. And I started to realize, like, it's not going to work anyways. I just don't want this to be messy. I think I'm gonna, you know, start to focus on dating Andrew because I started to really like Andrew, and Andrew started to really like me. So Andrew knows that me and Alex are still like kind of like, you know, talking, but like things have really drastically just died down to like be practically nothing, and just kind of like random flirting here and there. And me and Andrew, I'm not gonna get into the details, but we begin to basically have a romantic relationship, but it's not official. And we end up having our first date, which that'll be saved for the Andrew video, so yeah. We end up having our first date and all this stuff. And me and Alex are like continuing to kind of like subtly flirt, but it's like nothing serious. And like I said, Andrew does know about all this. He has seen all the texts, and he does not care. Or did not care at the time, and still doesn't. Because he understands that the time was different. So, then, right, okay, so, like, in August, basically, Alex, like, is like, what? Like, what's going on? Like, are we together? And I was like, no. Like, you're the one who broke up with me. And he's like, okay, well, like, we're kind of flirting. And I was like, well, yeah, I mean, we both were, blah, blah. He's like, okay, I think I don't want to do that. I don't think I want to flirt with you anymore. And I was like, that's fine. I kind of like someone else. So, and he's like, oh, okay. And everything was just like casual as normal. And it felt like really good to just finally just be like, we're done. So we officially declare that we're done. Okay. But we try to stay friends. So August starts, we try to stay friends. And me and Andrew end up starting to date at the end of August, August 23rd. But I didn't want to tell Alex that we were dating because I was scared, because Alex and Andrew used to be really good friends, and he knows like his exact like bike route home. So I was like scared, because I was like, I don't want him to like kill him, because he was like threatening to kill people and had even threatened to kill Andrew at some points to me. And so I was like, I don't want him to do that, you know, like I don't want to tell him. So I just kept it to myself. And Andrew also knew that, by the way, and understood because of like what was going on at the time. So we end up okay, so like in October, okay, it was just like being friends was just too much. Like we kept on arguing and just like having all these like disputes. So I essentially like, I know for a fact I can't properly like tell Alex like I want to block you because of how he is. So I just decided I'm just gonna block him on everything and forget about it. So I do that. I block him on everything except for Roblox. So I get a text from him on Roblox, and he's like, hey, you forgot something. And I was like, oh shit, I forgot something, and that is not good. So I text him, and I'm like, I unblock him on, oh my god, my bangs are so fucked. I unblock him on Discord, and I'm like, hey, LOL. And he's like, hey, why'd you block me? And I'm like, okay. So this is where I have the screenshots, okay, and this will be the last part before I end the video. Okay. I said, why did you send me that on Roblox? He said, don't know. I said, okay, it was creepy. I just had to block you. I feel like it's best for both of us. I'm sorry I blocked you though, but I feel like it's just best for the both of us. I think sometimes it hurts me because I feel like we had a rough relationship on both ends. With you hitting me in your anger issues and my slight anger issues and habit of getting mad quickly, which I only blame myself at the time, but I don't anymore. I got mad quickly because he would be unloyal to me. And then I say, I feel anxious when you text me sometimes, and I feel like it's dragging me down from being fully happy. It's not a you problem. I think it's more of a me problem, and I'm sorry about that. I feel like we'll hurt each other by continuing to talk, and we should stop being friends before we hurt each other and start hating each other. He says, well, that's fine. I said, are you sure? He says, well, when you block me out of nowhere, it seems like an asshole move. I said, okay, and I'm sorry for that, but it was hurting me to talk to you. He said, then say something. If talking to me was hurting you, you should have said something. I said, it's hard for me to talk about my feelings. Respectfully, you've hit me and made me feel like not the best at times. You played with my emotions for a month, and I've gotten over you and just realized it was wrong. And I feel like you have no place on telling me that what's asshole like. He said, I played with your emotions. I said, yes. I felt completely confused for all of June to August when we ended things. Every day I got really bad anxiety. I didn't know if you'd be lovey with me or tell me you'd stop or tell me you wanted to stop what we had. I guess it just hurt. And I really lost who I was trying to repair what we had. I guess being your friend isn't working at this moment. I don't mean that against you, not directly. I think it's more of me being slightly scared of you, although I'm not entirely sure why. He says, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to play with your emotions. I said, I know you didn't. It just hurt a lot. I feel like this is what's best for both of us, because I knew I had gone, I told him that day, like, oh, I just got a boyfriend. Just got a boyfriend. Because I didn't want to, like, tell him, like, I'm hiding a boyfriend from you, because I knew he'd get mad. And I didn't tell him it was Andrew, I just said, I have a boyfriend. And then I said, you know, I had hair in my mouth. I said, now that I have a boyfriend, I guess I want to be free of my past and all that. I also feel this would be beneficial towards you, or to you, because I don't know if you've moved on fully or at all, but I think that this could help you start a new life in your school. And I said, I think sometimes I hold grudges too, from when you hit me and have gotten physically violent. And I never want to take out my grudges on you or be mean to you or anything. I have a lot of care for you, and I want you to know that I've always been here for you, and I wish I could be here for you without it hurting me. I'm sorry if blocking you is selfish. I really am. Bitch, don't be sorry. Don't be sorry. Ask me. He says, that's fine. Just do whatever. I said, are you mad? He says, I don't know what he says. I cut it off on accident, but I basically said, no, it's fine. I just don't want you to be mad. I'm just trying to help the both of us. He said, well, just do whatever. I said, why are you mad or upset? He said, just forget it, please. Just do whatever, please. I wish I could explain, but I can't. I said, well, it's best to tell me now. I mean, we won't talk for a while. And then I basically tell him, I go on this whole thing. I'm not going to read it word for word, but I essentially tell him like how, like, you know, when I tell people like, oh, my ex hit me, you know, they kind of are like, oh, that's not okay. And I realized that it's not okay that he hit me. Even if I said I forgave him, it's not okay. And then he says, we talked about it several times. I apologize so much. And you said you forgave me unless you didn't. And I've changed. I've worked on it. And you telling everyone how I hate you just isn't fair. I know I hate you, and I know it's the shittiest thing, and I'm sorry. And I'll always be sorry. And I show it by working on my anger issues. It's just not fair. Hell, if it's still bothering you, then let me help. And then I just want to say, like, it wasn't fair how you hit me to begin with, so you can't really talk about what's fair. And I don't tell everyone. I just tell some people, like my friends, blah, blah, blah. And then he ends up saying, I'm sorry, okay? I don't know how to help. Even though he just said, if you need, like, you could ask me for help. I said, I know, there's no way to help. That's why I feel like it's best we don't talk anymore. He says, that's fine. I have stuff to do. Just do whatever. So then I basically say, okay, you keep saying that, and I can tell you're mad, blah, blah, blah. Like, if you have anything to say, you should say it now, because I'm going to end up blocking you. And he was like, not before I do. And then he blocked me first. What? And I remember thinking, like, that's really immature. Because I'm not one to talk about immature, but damn, you know? Anyways, that is my full relationship lore with Alex. And Alex, if you're watching this, which I don't think you are, but if you are, you're a fucking freak. And you know you're a freak. Everyone knows you're a freak. And your first girl, that girlfriend you had for a month that was really pretty, I texted her and I told her that you abused me. So that's why she broke up with you. It wasn't because she realized that she didn't like you. It was because I told her to break up with you. So yeah, I gave her the receipts. Anyways, so yeah, I used to like stalk him on Instagram. I don't do that anymore because it's just bad for my mental health to like be the savior, I guess, of like people who date him. If people date him, they sadly just have to find out the hard way because I just can't deal with that mentally. But that's my story on him, on Alex. Honorary mention, he would scratch his butthole on the floor because he did not wash his ass, so it would get so itchy that he had to scratch it against the floor while we were dating together, in my own presence. Anyways, tomorrow's gonna be me and Andrew's love story, and I love him so much, and he's the best boyfriend ever, so stay tuned tomorrow.